Thrive in 2025. Proudly presented by Holt Spa and Fitness Depot, Ottawa.
Well, if you're trying to thrive in 2025, that will be hard to do without a good night's sleep. Here to tell us why sleep can help in all aspects of your life and well-being is Andrew Holmes. He's the founder of Sleep Efficiency. Great to have you with us again, Andrew.
Good morning. Happy New Year.
Tell us a little bit more about this time of year in particular and its impact on sleep. A lot of people say, you know, I feel tired more, even though usually we kind of figure it's the amount of time we've stayed awake or what we've done in the day. Obviously, light can impact how our body responds to fatigue.
Yeah, we're going to talk about all of that. So 2025, setting new goals, the best investment you can make and, you know, the best kind of foot forward would be to invest in quality sleep and prioritizing your sleep health for this year, for 2025. We're not just talking about getting quality rest, we're talking about how that sleep can actually help impact you achieve all of those other goals. So whether it's personal, relationship, you know, being a better family member, but better parent with your kids. Sleep has been looked upon as the third pillar of health alongside exercise and nutrition, but I would push it one step further and say it's the foundation on which the other two will sit. So, you know, prioritizing your quality sleep will actually enable you to achieve all those other things, and that's what we're going to kind of talk about here. What kind of actionable takeaways can we implement? All
right, let's get to it then. You're saying embrace the power of sleep cycles.
Yeah, so we've talked about this on the show before. Sleep cycles are 90 minutes in duration. Most people are aware now, even on their phones, the tech is there on their Apple Watches, Fitbits. They all have sleep apps that they can look at, and it's actually looking at sleep cycles, which are 90 minutes in duration, where we go from light stages to deep stages, and we close that with a REM period. What we want to talk about, though, is actually tailoring those 90-minute cycles to specific times. If you wake up in the morning and you haven't been able to tailor the sleep cycle to those 90 minutes to allow you to transition out of a lighter stage of sleep, you're going to actually create something called sleep inertia, which is a sleep drunkenness, a grogginess. Right. Sometimes you may wake up in the morning and feel it's difficult to get the hamster on the wheel. That's because you've woken up out of a sleep stage you haven't been able to complete. There's a bit of a brain fog. So, you know, going to bed at the same time, getting up at the same time, continuity is king in this particular state.
Continuity and consistency. Got it. All right. You're also saying sync your sleep with natural light as we talk about the seasons.
For sure. You'd let out with that. And you're right on point for that. So if you can get outside and expose yourself to as much natural light as early in the morning as you possibly can, exposing yourself to natural sunlight. So no sunglasses, no brimmed hat, get outside, open up your eyes. Light enters the eye via the retina and it sends our signals to the CNS, which is our central nervous system, and it kind of actions a variety of different systems. It suppresses melatonin, which is our sleep-inducing hormone. It activates cortisol, it does a variety of things, but it's also kind of considered our waking hormone. So it will kind of allow our body to wake up. More importantly that though, what it does is it synchronizes our body's sleep-wake cycle. Our circadian rhythms are governed by exposure to light. So if you want to keep that same bedtime, rise time, natural light, sunlight, first thing in the morning, get outside and see if you can expose yourself to that vitamin D right out the gate.
I don't want to slow us down from our next tip here, but when it comes to shift workers or maybe those that work at a hospital or may start their day or morning, quote unquote, in the darkness, what are your tips there?
So I would suggest looking for like a bright light therapy. I actually did 13 years of straight overnights in a sleep lab. And some of our techs that we were with, and myself included, there's special lights that you can actually have on the desk that expose yourself to an extra higher UV setting and a brilliance that will allow that exposure to take place. It's not as great as the natural light, but again, shift workers, it's actually being considered a natural carcinogen now that happens. The risk of people doing consistent shift work is now, it's just not safe.
Okay, thank you for that. Let's see our next tip here. Practice sleep extension to balance hunger hormones.
Right, so if I told you that, you know, you could lose weight while you slept, you'd probably look at me like, you know, what are you talking about? There is some truth to it. So there are two hormones that balance our hunger and our appetite. One is called leptin, and that's a hormone that allows us to feel full. And then ghrelin is our hunger hormone. It gives us that sense of we need to consume food.
Right.
With sleep extension, sleeping longer than normal, it increases the levels of leptin and decreases our ghrelin levels.
Right.
The opposite, if you're consistently underslept, your ghrelin levels are actually higher than usual and you want to consume more food. That's because you're looking for another energy source because you're underslept. So sleep extension, sleep a little bit more, you will actually consume less food. Studies have actually shown now as well that if you stay up later at night, you know, maybe it's work due to work, maybe it's watching an episode of Netflix, you're consuming more calories as well. maybe an extra 400 or 500 calories over the course of a week. That's an extra 3,000 or 4,000 calories. So again, sleep more, reduce the levels of ghrelin and that hunger hormone.
That's so accurate, because it feels like the longer you're up, the more hungry you feel. But meanwhile, if you had slept your 8 hours, you're not eating during that time period before you break your fast.
You got it,
All
buddy.
right,
You
let's
got
see
it.
the last one. Get tested.
Right. So if you've looked at everything else, if you've done your best sleep hygiene tactics, which are, best sleep practices, and you're still struggling, it might be time to get a test done. The hospital is, of course, the traditional approach, but they are kind of plagued with wait times. At Sleep Efficiency, we offer a home-based sleep testing solution. We actually ship devices right across the country now, across the province. We're physically, obviously, located near Ottawa, but you can do a sleep test in the comfort of your own home. Sleep apnea is one of the most prevalent sleep disorders where we have pauses in our breathing. 1 in 4 Canadians now are suffering from sleep apnea, and 80% of the population aren't diagnosed due to lack of testing options. So if you've done everything you possibly can and you're still struggling, maybe it's time to take a peek behind the curtain and see whether or not it's actually a physiological process. Due to all your best efforts, if you're still struggling, it might be time to get a test done just to see if it's something that we can improve upon. We'd be happy to do that for you.
Awesome. Andrew, thank you for helping us and our viewers thrive in 2025.